Unbelievable. A witness captured something truly bizarre at a reservoir dam. Not far from the shore, a strange white creature was slowly gliding through the water. But just as this mystery began to unfold, things got even stranger. About 100 meters away, the calm water surface suddenly erupted into massive waves. As if that wasn't enough, another witness, further downstream, filmed something just as shocking. The water, which had been still moments before, started spitting out fish that leapt from the depths, as if something was chasing them. Locals who had lived in the area for decades had never seen anything like this before. Meanwhile, the strange white creature continued to glide along the shore, seemingly unaware of the attention it was drawing. At first, the villagers assumed it was just a large fish, but as the camera zoomed in, their jaws dropped. Upon closer inspection, the creature's features became clearer. It was something they had never seen before. So what in the world was this mysterious creature?
We were finally able to access the chambers under Devil's Tower, and you're not going to believe what we found inside them. As I mentioned last week, we shot photon protein fiber beams with the AI LiDAR at the base of it and found these chambers with that passageway and the door. We were waiting on permits, and we finally got them from the U.S. governors, and we dug down, found the door, and then we had to crawl through this narrow passageway. I was with Dr. Remy Demi. His camelback kept getting caught up, and he had a prime energy drink in his hand, and I was like, just let it go. But when we got through that, there was this passageway, and you're not going to believe, look at this. Right when we entered the room, it looks like Egyptian statues and Egyptian hieroglyphicers on the wall. There's not even any recordage of Egyptians being in ancient America, so we don't even know how they got there. But what's crazy is one of the hieroglyphicers had this, what looks like an alien on the wall. Below it was this pot that had an ancient scroll in it. I opened it up and I found this. This is a video I just took of it. We're trying to take it to the University of Oxford so that we can scan it and figure out what it says. And this is what they have so far. It looks like Aramaic or Hebrew, which is even more baffling. But we're getting it translated right now, and I'll keep you updated on what it says. But I don't know what any of this means. I'm curious if you have any hypotheses.
In our ever-evolving world, new and undiscovered creatures continue to emerge, awaiting exploration and recognition. Such is the case of this next footage. An Australian man was jogging in the morning when he came across a strange creature on the ground. The creature had a huge head and a long tail with small black eyes. Its skin was semi-transparent. It looked undeveloped and looked like an undeveloped sea creature washed onto the land. However, when scientists came across the footage, they were unable to identify the creature. I almost thought it was a squid, but I was sharply reprimanded. So I turned to you guys. What do you think we're dealing with here?
Recent Ancient Discoveries, Part 4. The internet went absolutely nuts when archaeologists discovered a 1500-year-old Mongolian mummy that was wearing boots resembling red Adidas trainers.
In the vast expanse of the Gobi Desert, paleontologists have uncovered a massive fossil, a winged creature unlike anything recorded before, with wingspans stretching over 40 feet and bones eerily preserved in sand. This fossil challenges everything we know about prehistoric life. Experts are baffled. Could this be a new species bridging the gap between reptiles and birds, or something even stranger? A lost giant that once ruled the skies.
Mysterious creature floats in a river near a village in Indonesia. Measuring at 23 meters long and 4 meters wide. It is said that many people were going missing when they went into the river. The villagers believe this creature was the problem.
By 2005, when the sand from the Sahara Desert began to fly with the wind, they found the bones of a 40-million-year-old whale. It was always theorized that the Sahara Desert used to be a sea, and this pretty much confirmed it. But the most shocking thing was that some of these whales even had the bones of feet. And this shows how land-based animals actually evolved to live in the ocean. In 2018, a farmer named James was digging to install a drainage pipe in his yard. That's when he found a skull of a woolly mammoth which was 14,000 years old. Archaeologists said that humans hunted it and later buried it right in this field. Finally, in 2015 in Argentina, Jose Antonio wanted to take a breath of fresh air by this lake. That's when he found a large round object in the water. This was the shell of an armadillo that was 10,000 years old. According to the shell, armadillos at the time would grow to around 11 feet. And after this discovery, many other giant armadillo shells began mysteriously appearing around Argentina.
This diver, while exploring caves at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, discovered an ancient sword. He had dived down with a camera to capture the incredible beauty of the sea, but a strange object caught his eye. At first, he thought it was a fake, and, without giving it much thought, brought the shell-covered sword to the surface. Only after showing the find to archaeologists was its incredible value and age confirmed, over 1,000 years old. Researchers say the sword belonged to a high-ranking knight, and once it's cleaned of marine growth, symbols on it may reveal detailed stories of past.
A group of archaeologists randomly stumbled upon this massive claw while digging down a cave in New Zealand. Turns out it was the 3,300-year-old claw of a moa bird which went extinct a few centuries ago.
When it comes to Mars, they aren't telling us the whole truth. Just 3 days ago, NASA made a discovery on the Martian surface that forces us to re-examine our reality.
Seriously?
Yeah, so, as you know, the Cydonia region is home to the face of Mars and many other large monuments. Some believe these are remnants of an ancient alien city. Since these discoveries in the 1970s, NASA has avoided Cydonia. At least that is what they've told the public. Behind the scenes, they've been devoting a substantial amount of time and resources to secretly studying this area. Recently, there was a startling discovery made in this region, a gigantic hole in the ground. This was unlike any other hole we've seen on Mars thus far. NASA began studying the hole immediately. First, they ran seismic tests to determine the depth of the hole, but these came back inconclusive. Next, they used advanced lasers. These lasers can detect up to 500 miles, which is why the team was in complete shock with the results. The lasers could not detect the bottom of the hole. Apparently, this hole was deeper than 500 miles. This was a true anomaly. The team then decided they would fly an advanced military drone into the hole. As it descended hundreds of miles into the darkness, the team noticed something incredible. It was the sound of light music coming from the bottom of the hole. They were in shock.
In Russia, a scientific expedition captured unprecedented images of an unknown creature living in the depths of Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the world, sparking debates about new species.
Cuidado, mira este reptile loco. Silencio.
Incredible huge python of 14 meters in diameter. Discovered in the Amazon jungle.
Explain this one then.
In Australia, researchers developed a genetically modified plant capable of growing in highly saline soils, paving the way for agriculture in areas previously considered unproductive.
You won't believe this crazy discovery about 9/11. Everybody knows that on September 11th, 2001, the Twin Towers in New York City were struck by two airplanes and both towers collapsed to the ground. Thousands of people were killed and the damage was devastating. However, in 2010, workers excavating the crash site discovered something very strange. They discovered the remains of a 30-foot-long wooden boat that was buried underneath the 9/11 rubble. The question soon became, how did a shipwreck end up 22 feet beneath the World Trade Center? Scientists began to research and analyze the wood that was found from the ship. And in 2014, they were able to conclude that the ship was built around the 1770s. Around the same time as the Declaration of Independence. And it's believed that the ship was sailing through lower Manhattan where it sunk. And as New York City began to grow, the city of Manhattan expanded right over the top of.
Look what just happened. New terrifying discovery in Egypt that scares scientists. Archaeologists uncover artifacts whose significance and contents are initially almost beyond belief. Egypt is known for ancient treasures dug up by archaeologists.
They were warned never to open it. But they did anyway. Deep beneath an ancient temple, scientists unsealed a 4,000-year-old tomb untouched by time. Inside, a perfectly preserved corpse with no signs of decay and eyes that hadn't decomposed.
A shocking moment unfolds at a construction site captured on film. A massive hydraulic breaker pounds the earth, carving deep into the soil. Then, something completely unexpected emerges, a perfectly round sphere, unlike anything seen before. The excavator operator pauses, filled with curiosity. Earlier, the machine had been carrying out routine foundation excavation. As it dug deeper, the pit grew wider, appearing like any other construction project. Yet, suddenly, the operator noticed an unusual disturbance in the soil beneath. It was almost as if something unknown was lurking underground. With precise control, the excavator carefully lifts the object. The moment it emerges, the entire crew stands in disbelief. A massive, mysterious sphere is pulled from the depths, its smooth surface defying explanation. Workers gather around, exchanging theories. Is this an ancient artifact or a rare geological phenomenon?
You seen what's going on in Peru? Find a seat. New digs. There are new ancient Nazca lines. And that weird three-fingered mummy, confirmed authentic, but not entirely human. So Peru is leading the charge in rewriting history, and the entire country is pretty much an archaeological site. If you Google terrace farming, you'll see the ancient Peruvians terraformed the entire mountain landscape of the country into usable farmland. And peppered throughout all of that are very weird carvings, very geometric shapes carved into very hard rocks. We don't know what they're used for. Somehow they were able to move, shape, and cut these rocks, and we don't know how they did it. According to the Incas' good Spanish friends, the only animals they had were llamas. They did not have timber, and they did not use the wheel for transportation. The only metal tools that they found would easily bend on andesite and diorite. They told of an extensive tunnel system at Sacsayhuaman. They call this place a fortress, despite it looking like a massive machine. And the tunnels they found are so cleverly hidden, you probably wouldn't even notice that they were not a natural formation unless you went into them. Which is what this is. This is a LiDAR scan of those tunnels. And what you can clearly see here is a stairway. This may be the entrance to the Chincanas, a 1-mile-long tunnel connecting Sacsayhuaman to the Coricancha, a place their Spanish pals built a cathedral over. It protects some of the most advanced stonework on the planet. To the south, some ancient lines are drawn in the desert. These are called the Nazca lines. These can only be accurately interpreted from the air, and they're usually in the shapes of animals. But these new ones seem to be a geometric code of some sort, completely different from the ones we already know about. Nazca people believe these lines connected them to divine beings that we have labeled as their gods. The remains of these beings are very strange. They have elongated heads. Initially, we thought this was from head binding. But think of the skull like a plastic cup. If you fill it up with water, you can bend it and it'll hold the same amount of water. These hold 30% more water. This was determined to be a different species from a fetus that they found that already had the elongated head. It couldn't have been modified before. When these beings are depicted in Peruvian art, they always have 3 fingers, which is quite the coincidence because Maria happens to be one of these mummies and she has 3 fingers. One guy said these were fake, and after 9 years of study, that claim has been dismissed and overturned, and they are biologically authentic. Over at the digs, luminescence dating is being performed. The goal is to see if these were built before the Younger Dryas cataclysmic event. Overwhelming evidence is suggesting a comet or asteroid hit us, ending the Ice Age. The survivors of this event would be these people. This would confirm the accounts from the ancient Egyptians and ancient Americans. Both cultures explicitly state this if you listen to the natives of those countries. Scientific analysis leaves out context, and the mythological perspective leaves out detail. This page intends to bridge that gap with a respect to both. All my personal research and analysis is right there, and I promise you there is so much more.
Deep beneath the earth in a network of unexplored caves in Norway, archaeologists stumbled upon a discovery that shocked the entire internet and shaken the foundations of our understanding of ancient human civilization. The discovery began like many others, with a routine survey. Dr. Lisa Taylor and her team were mapping a newly discovered cave system when their equipment began picking up strange anomalies. The readings suggested a large chamber lay hidden behind one of the cave walls, but what they found inside was a miracle and would defy explanation. The first sign that this was no ordinary cave came when their lights illuminated the entrance chamber. Instead of rough, natural rock formations, they found walls that had been worked with incredible precision. But it was what was carved into those walls that made the team stop in their tracks. There, emerging from the stone as if caught between our world and another, was a figure unlike anything they'd ever seen in their years of archaeological work. The central figure was carved with such detail and skill that it seemed almost alive. A human form, emaciated and skeletal, frozen in a position of supplication. The figure was kneeling, its bone-thin arms raised in what appeared to be either worship or warning. "I've never seen anything like this," whispered Dr. Sarah Chen, the team's expert on ancient art. The technical skill required to achieve this level of detail, it shouldn't have been possible with the tools available to ancient civilizations. The figure wasn't alone. Surrounding it were other carved elements, abstract shapes and symbols that seemed to pulse with hidden meaning. Some appeared to be depicting what looked like ritual objects, while others suggested celestial bodies or geometric patterns that hinted at advanced mathematical knowledge.
So this is either going to be the biggest discovery of the century or it's going to be complete nonsense. But apparently the pyramid at Khafre at Giza has been scanned by radar and that they allegedly detected massive structures that were stirring far below the pyramid. Allegedly, researchers said that they announced the discovery of abnormal vertical cylindrical structures that were approximately 648 meters beneath the Giza plateau. They were using advanced synthetic aperture radar tomography. The team reported a complex of 5 multi-layer subsurface halls with sloped roofs connected by geometric pathways and 8 deep cylindrical wells arranged in 2 parallel rows. These hollow cylinders spiral downward and eventually merge into 2 gigantic cube-shaped chambers that are about 80 meters across. Now, the people that claim to have discovered this were Corrado Malanga of University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi of University of Strathclyde. Now, they're saying that these formations are man-made and not natural. Now, here's the thing. This is still waiting peer review and confirmation, so it's not confirmed yet. But it's already started blowing up all over the internet because of the fact that if this is man-made structures beneath the pyramid, that's 2,100 feet.
Archaeological discoveries in China that shouldn't exist. Incredible archaeological discoveries have been made by archaeologists when they accidentally came across bones and colossal bronze specimens. This unexpected find...
They sound unreal. 1. A 30,000-year-old frozen flower. In Siberia, scientists found seeds buried by Ice Age squirrels. When thawed, they bloomed into living plants, reviving a species extinct for millennia. 2. Giant crystals in Mexico. Deep in the Naka mine, some crystals stretch over 35 feet long and weigh more than 50 tons. They're the largest natural crystals ever found, like walking inside a cathedral made of glass. 3. A perfectly preserved woolly mammoth. Found in permafrost, it still had skin, fur, and even liquid blood. The discovery raised questions of whether extinct animals could one day be cloned. 4. The world's oldest water. Hidden in a Canadian mine, scientists found water sealed off for 2 billion years. Untouched by sunlight, it still contains signs of microbial life. 5. A forest frozen in stone. In places like Arizona's petrified forest, trees that lived over 200 million years ago turned to stone. Their rings and colors preserved forever in minerals. These finds prove Earth doesn't just shape the present, it hides entire worlds from the past, waiting to be uncovered. Follow Planet Mysteries for more of Earth's buried secrets.
Back to this. 26 feet tall, 200 feet wide. This is still there. This is in the Baltic Sea. Ocean X and a diving team accidentally found this while just searching for something. I honestly forget what the hell they were looking for. But they did try to get it out the water. This thing is so large, it's just way too impossible to get out from the bottom of the sea, right? But they did dive and went swimming around it. They try to record videos. That's actually in a documentary. And it goes fuzzy. It's kind of strange. Every time we talk about UFOs or UAPs, you try to get them on camera, it's just, no sir, not today, not happening. However, they did, clear up the dust and shit, pardon my language, while they were on there, and it is metal. If you look at the side of the thing right here, it literally looks like stairs going up. And here's the thing, using ground penetrating radar, not just sonar, not just sonar. This thing is not attached to the ground. And if you see that, there is drag marks behind it. Literally looks like a crashed UFO. I'm going to put the coordinates right here. If anybody out there has the funds, holler at OceanX. Get this thing out the water.
Archaeologists in Lima, Peru came across a mummy that was bound in ropes in an underground tomb. It's estimated to be up to 1,200 years old, as rope binding was a traditional part of the local funeral process.
A second Sphinx has been discovered in the mountains of Peru, which is absolutely extraordinary. Traditionally, it is believed that there is only one Sphinx, the one in Egypt. However, a photographer recently spotted an intriguing rock formation and took photographs that he sent to several archaeologists. Intrigued, some of them traveled to the site and began clearing the area around this potential structure. To their great surprise, they discovered hieroglyphs engraved on the stone. This discovery confirmed that the structure was indeed a second Sphinx, almost identical to the one in Egypt. But this raises a fascinating question. How could the Egyptians have built such a structure in Peru when they had not yet crossed the Atlantic? This enigma seems unbelievable, and yet the evidence is there. Inside the Sphinx, an entrance was found leading to a large chamber, reminiscent of Egyptian tombs, adorned with hieroglyphs. This groundbreaking discovery challenges our knowledge of ancient civilizations and their capabilities in travel and construction.
1,513 map shows Antarctica's coastline in perfect detail. But Antarctica wasn't discovered for another 300 years. How did he know what it looked like?
Chinese giants. In 2017, archaeologists unearthed skeletal remains of unusually tall people in Shandong, China. It was believed that these giants may have lived in China some 5,000 years ago. The human-like bones were very huge and strong, and at heights of up to 1.9 meters. Along with these bones, pottery and various jade items were also found. This archaeological finding was more amazing because people in China are not known to be that tall. If China had giants, imagine how tall prehistoric people from other countries would be.
The captivating discovery of a young woman's mummy dating back to Egypt's New Kingdom period offers a rare window into the lives of individuals outside the royal elite. This woman, believed to be in her 20s, was mummified with distinct features that set her apart from the royal mummies, typically associated with elaborate burial rituals. Unlike the highly ritualized embalming procedures reserved for royalty, her body retains remnants of organs, suggesting a less formal mummification process. Recent scans of her remains have revealed intriguing aspects, including a slight curvature of the spine and a height of about 4 feet 10 inches. These details suggest a glimpse into the lives of individuals who were not part of the elite, revealing the everyday realities of ancient Egyptian society.
A recent gas exploration activity in a Saudi Arabian desert uncovered the ancient skeletal remains of humans of a phenomenal size. Archaeologists are conducting various studies to find out the true facts relating to these skeletons' origin. However, local people and religious scholars link these gigantic skeletons to a story mentioned in the Holy Quran. The story states that God created a race of tall, big, and powerful people who could put their arm around big tree trunks and break them. This race was named Ad. This powerful race later turned against God, and they were destroyed.
In the Sahara Desert, researchers unearthed a massive skeleton of an unknown dinosaur species over 20 meters long with features never before seen in other known species.
Would you believe me if I told you that they found mummies in Missouri? I'm reading this chapter on inventions and discoveries and came across something pretty incredible. Our story starts in Iron County, Missouri, on Pilot Knob Mountain, the west side of the mountain, actually. A small group of ladies and gentlemen came across 3 stalwart miners. I guess they were working really hard to dislodge this massive boulder. The boulder was unimaginably huge, measuring nearly 30 feet in diameter. It lay at the top of a cut, and when it was dislodged, it would plunge an unbroken depth of 40 feet into the bottom of the cut that yawned far beneath it. So they prepared a huge blast to basically blow this rock up and off the hill and get it out of the way. The rock hit the bottom with a huge crash and disappeared into a bottomless pit. It opened up a hole in the mountain below them. The rock smashed a hole in the side of the mountain and basically opened up this massive cavern. They started discovering it immediately. And then what they described that they saw in this cavern is absolutely incredible. In regular rows along both sides of this grand chamber, and on either side of an aisle running through the center to the further wall, about 30 yards distant, were upright human forms in the state of preservation and disciplined regularity. This discovery basically put these guys back in time. They said that they couldn't believe how beautiful it was, the silence, they were in this deep awe. There was polished walls in this chamber that were frescoed with ancient animals known to man, like every single ancient animal you can possibly think of. They stated that the forms, customs, and general appearance of these mummies, as well as the numerous hieroglyphic characters, were all purely Egyptian. This one was really, really hard to source. I had to do a lot of digging and ended up coming across this newspaper and found the article, and it is from 1869.
China, scientists developed a flexible and nearly unbreakable type of glass which could revolutionize the cell phone, screen, and even car window industry. In a cave in Indonesia, the oldest known cave painting ever recorded was discovered, estimated to be around 51,000 years old, a hunting scene that changes everything we thought we knew about prehistoric art.
Keep your eyes peeled for all domain anomalies. ADAs, because apparently these mysterious objects aren't just flying anymore. They are up, they are down, they are even in the ocean. Seems thousands of the unidentified objects are reported every year, not spotted in the sky, but instead spotted in the water. Since 2022, an app called Enigma has tracked more than 9,000 water-based sightings within 10 miles of U.S. coasts, and they're plotted on these maps. The anomalies were shooting out of the water, or they were hovering over the water, or they were diving into the water, and get this, usually without making a splash. Okay, Ben, the video that we were just looking at, my first thought was, that's got to be divers, right? It's got to be divers with those neon lights. And then I thought, no, not at night without a dive boat. That's really dangerous. What did you make of it when you saw this?
Exactly that. I mean, I'm a master diver. There's nobody around there with a dive boat, with a dive flag, anything like that. I like to dive at night. Some people go lobster diving. It is still possible. This particular one, we haven't had time even to get out there to go check this out in the field. But you start looking at, you know, the number of sightings that people are having in these locations, and you know, putting it all together, it just doesn't make sense that so many people, you know, are unable to. I don't know. The UFO thing has been, you know, always people focusing in the sky, right? And so it's kind of like now that we're shifting to USOs, a lot of people are wondering if this is a new phenomenon or not, and it really is not. You know, it's the submerged objects have been since the beginning. You know, when we started reporting, remember we had these pilots that were seeing them in the water off of Catalina. And air traffic controllers were telling us that pilots were witnessing this glow, sometimes the size of a city. You know, and so here you have this Fort Lauderdale case. It's a lot smaller, but you know, it's really hard to say whether we're looking at a natural phenomena. These definitely not like phosphorus and algae. It's nothing like that, and it definitely doesn't explain how people are seeing the objects come up out of the water and zip out, and these huge like flaps have been going on for decades.
Wow, we come across an ancient artifact that's so insanely old that it just does not fit into any of our timelines. That would be an out-of-place artifact, or OOPArt, and we ain't talking about the blatantly fake ones over here. As I'm sure you've seen the Babylon Nokia, this Nokia-looking cell phone with ancient Sumerian digits on it, which I'm pretty sure is just a prank. These old iron pipes found in China hold more validity to them, known as the Baigong pipes, found near the Chinese Mount Baigong, which appears to host a pyramid-shaped mound with a saltwater lake inside. And beneath the surface of this area, several hollowed out, rusted iron pipes running into the mountain were uncovered, ranging from 18 inches in diameter to as thin as a noodle. What makes these special is that researchers have found the pipes to be over 150,000 years old after performing dating analyses on them, made during a time that our primate ancestors were supposed to be roaming the earth, far before any civilization began to form. This right here is an out-of-place artifact, and we've got a whole bunch of them that make even less and less sense as we go on. Humans didn't start working with metal until about 10,000 BC at the earliest, let alone developing a sophisticated underground water transport system like we see here. No one really knows where or how these pipes came to be, and they're found all around the area. Believe it or not, this is actually the newest part on our list, so shit just keeps on getting older from here. Just like up in the Ural Mountains in Russia, archaeologists found finely crafted microscopic metal parts 10 meters beneath the surface. They were embedded in rock that was calculated to be about 300,000 years old, making these bits around the same age. But the shapes are far too intricate to be naturally forming, and they even tried pinning them on stray missile parts that fell from the sky. But they were much too deep in the rock to have been recently fallen, and they had no other way of getting there. These pieces of alleged ancient nanotechnology were also less than a millimeter long and made of tungsten, a material commonly used in spacecraft. Also found deep underneath the ground in Rockwall County, Texas, lies a wall made of rock. Known as the Great Wall of Texas, it was uncovered in a layer of earth dated to 400,000 years old, way before our primate ancestors were able to build such formations or even step foot in America. Some geologists absolutely insist it's a naturally occurring formation known as clastic sand dikes, but I mean, just look at them. Measuring up to 40 feet in height at some points, you can literally see the shape of the bricks and the mortar holding them together in this wall. This is how real clastic sand dikes look like. Pretty natural, right? And this is the Great Wall of Texas. You be the judge, but clearly there's quite a bit of controversy around this one. Similar to the Coso artifact, what appears to be a spark plug or an electrical device of some sort, encased in a geode that would have taken 500,000 years to form, and the only way an object can be stuck inside of one like this is if the geode formed around it, meaning this ancient spark plug would have to be around the same age. X-rays performed on the artifact revealed a metal cylinder inside with a screw-like ending, indicating it may have operated as a spark plug. Needless to say, our primitive ancestors were nowhere near developing such technology 500,000 years ago, and many pointed it to being a hoax. But the further back in time we go, the harder these become to explain. Case in point, this is the Nampa figurine, found in Idaho in 1889, 300 feet beneath the surface. A layer of clay it was found in was confirmed by the US Geological Survey to be over 2 million years old. Esteemed geologist George Frederick even went to investigate the area and confirmed that the red iron oxidation on the clay figurine matched exactly with the 2 million year old clay layer in a way that couldn't have been faked, making this a 2 million year old clay figurine, way before any even remotely modern humans were thought to live on Earth. So was this even made by humans? There's a fossilized human finger that might point us in the right direction. So a bit of background. The oldest recorded human ancestor fossil we've ever found is about 3.2 million years old, belonging to Lucy, one of our primate ancestors. But now, this fossilized finger right here was found in a Cretaceous limestone formation in Texas. Cretaceous meaning it's over 100 million years old. 100 million years. We're talking the age of dinosaurs right here, far before any proto-human primates were even close to roaming the earth. This was our closest ancestor during that period, so whose finger's that? Which gets even crazier with the Kaluga screw found in a meteor crash site in Russia. That's a metal screw embedded into an asteroid rock, and studies show that the iron and silicon of the screw and rock have physically fused into one another, meaning the screw could not have been a new addition to the rock, which was dated, get ready for this, 300 million years old. Other scientists tried saying this is actually an ancient sea creature called a crinoid, despite it being made of metal. Similar to this refined aluminum machine part found encased in coal in another Russian mine, accurately dated to 300 million years old as well, hinting at scattered remains of some advanced civilization that existed long ago. Which brings us to the infamous London hammer, discovered in London, Texas in the 1930s. An iron hammerhead with a wooden handle encased in rock. Which, let me remind you, rocks don't just form around man-made objects out of the blue. Objects embedded into rock or coal this deep are typically preserved as the rock forms around them over the course of millions of years, as is the case with fossils, which in this case was found in a layer of rock over 400 million years old, the alleged age of the rock and hence of the hammer as well. As with many of these, a lot of speculation around this one, but still interesting to think about a human tool over 400 million years old. The wooden handle is also said to have been partially turned into coal, a process that takes millions of years, which is nothing compared to the Klerksdorp spheres. Round, smooth objects with fine grooves around them found in South African mines. Many claim these are naturally forming mineral deposits, but still others that shapes and patterns like these are just not not possible in nature. Made from a metallic outer material and a fibrous interior, 200 of these spheres were found in a mineral deposit over 2.8 billion years old. Back when Earth was still a baby, and apart from a few plants, life barely even existed yet. But then again, we claim life didn't exist back then because we haven't been able to find any evidence of it. Could this be it?
In the Sahara Desert, archaeologists uncovered rock paintings depicting extinct animals and scenes from an ancient civilization, suggesting that the region was once a fertile oasis inhabited thousands of years ago. France, archaeologists found a set of prehistoric musical instruments made from bones and stones, indicating that music has even older roots.
This video shows an expedition led by Timothy Darrow and his two associates to Indonesia, the island of Flores, where they had an unfortunate encounter with human-like creatures called Abu Gogo, otherwise referred to us as hobbits.